Dear experts and professors, hello everyone. My name is Yikang. I am honored to have the opportunity to share my research paper here. AI is now deeply integrated into design higher education as a production tool. Existing scholarship overwhelmingly bermuticizes its capacity to boost work efficiency and generate creative outputs. This perspective overlooks a core requirement of visual design education, cultivating students' ability to interpret cultural symbols and construct symbolic meaning. Can AI serve interpretive learning instead of only supporting visual generation? This study positions AI as an interpretive mediator for cultural symbol learning in visual design education, centered on the case of Chinese tiger imagery. Current scholarship demonstrates three critical gaps that our study addresses. The dominant discourse frames AI as a generative protective tool for design, overlooking its potential to foster symbolic reasoning about culture. No systematic qualitative research has examined this pedagogical practice in non-Western application-oriented design education contexts. To fill these gaps, we propose three targeted research questions. How does AI mediate students' interpretation of cultural symbology? Recussion, interpretation of cultural symbol and symbolic registered learn and Chabriel's visualization. These questions anchor our entire investigation into mediated cultural learning in visual design education. This research adopts a qualitative case study to answer the three proposed research questions with rigorous empirical evidence. We conducted a 6-week project, Best Teaching Intervention, with 3 third-year instructors and third-year visual communication design students. Shandong Huayu, University of Technology, China. We collected data through classroom observation, design, artifacts, reflective journals, and semi-structured interviews and applied thematic analysis, focusing on themes of cultural understanding, visual interpretation, and pedagogical mediation. We constructed the structured 3-stage mediated learning framework to answer our research questions, positioning AI explicitly as an interpretive support tool rather than an autonomous design authority. As you can see from the flow diagram on this slide, the first stage combines traditional cultural reference materials with text-based AI inquiry to unpack symbolic meaning. The second stage leverages image generation AI to produce multiple visual variants of the target cultural symbol. The third stage centers on critical evaluation of AI outputs and iterative refinement guided by human judgment. This framework gives design students structured scaffolding to deepen cultural interpretation without ceding creative ownership to technology. Our analysis of the 6-week classroom practice data confirms three core findings on how AI mediates cultural symbol interpretation, learning in visual design education. AI improved students' cultural articulation. Working with the Chinese tiger imagery case, all participating students shifted from vague general descriptions of tigers to specific culturally grounded interpretation and deifying congruity, specific symbolism, such as imperial authority, equal-protection, and moral integrity. By comparing dozens of generated visual variants, students directly observed how changes in composition, color, and form alter the symbolic meaning of the same tiger motif, deepening their understanding of the link between form and cultural connotation. AI encouraged reflective design. Most students used AI outputs as critical reference points rather than final solutions, revising their own designs based on comparative evaluation. This confirms its unique value as a pedagogical mediation tool for cultural learning in design education. A mediated cultural symbol interpretation still faces clear practical risks in classroom practice. Genix unrefined student prompts trigger repetitive visual outputs and surface-level symbolic readings, and uncurricular science, the UI, directly erodes the unique Assisted instructor intervention resolves these risks. Targeted guidance helps students refine prompts to deepen cultural inquiry, facilitated critical discussion, anchors meaningful eye-supported learning of cultural symbols. AI can be positioned as an interpretive mediator for cultural symbol learning in visual design education rather than merely a generative design tool. This principle draws from the qualitative evidence of our 6-week case practice with third-year design students. It supports the connection between abstract cultural knowledge and tangible visual expression, and enhances students' visual literacy and symbolic reasoning ability through comparative exploration and reflective iteration. The educational value of this tool does not emerge on its own. It relies entirely on intentional pedagogical mediation and human-centered cultural judgment. This framework offers design educators an actionable path to balance rapid technological innovation. The core takeaway for our field is that AI achieves its greatest educational value when it facilitates deeper interpretation, radical reflection, and cultural depth rather than shortening creative width. AI can effectively support the teaching of cultural symbol interpretation in visual design education. When properly structured, as our case study on Chinese tiger imagery confirms, AI helps students articulate clearer symbolic lyrics, explore broader visual particularities, and develop more reflective design thinking. All these benefits rely on structured teaching, deliberate, reflective practice, and intentional instructor guidance. This work reminds us that AI must function as a learning mediator, not a creative shortcut for design students. For future research, we can expand to other cultural symbols, different institutional contexts, and long-term learning outcome tracking. This is all the content of my response. Thank you, experts. Please, experts, offer your valuable suggestions.